So I think the next thing I'm going to do, and it's not really documented here, in VS Code, I have a bunch of settings that are at the bottom of this. You can see some of them if you come down far enough. We have like extensions.json, we have key bindings mac.json, and some others. I try to keep this a little bit updated, but it's hard to keep that all updated all the time. I do have a separate gist here that has all of my settings. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to sync. No, that's not what I want. I want sync. So there's a thing called setting sync. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use it in order to, I think, I've got all of my, I'm going to have to change a whole bunch of settings because this is just going to slowly drive me nuts, I think. But basically, I want to use a setting sync here, and I'm going to install this, and then I'm going to try to just get it to sync my stuff up. Now, usually use a secret gist and use a GitHub token, and I can't show all that. So, anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I might have to pause the video to get some of these things and then resume so that, they aren't on the screen, because I can't share like secret tokens that access my GitHub account. But, let's do sync. And let's do download settings. Let's do how to configure. So this is going to explain all the stuff you need to do to install. Again, I'm not going to go through all this. I want to do Shift Alt D. That's not. So I want to do sync or I don't know why upload settings. I don't know why it's making me do all this whenever. I don't know why it's saying cannot read property stopwatch of undefined. So I'm going to go ahead and just close this and open VS Code again. That's not what I wanted. Let me see if I can get this to work this time. All right, so this is bringing this up. All right, so I'm just going to see if I can skip that. Nope. Okay. So generally what you do here is I'm just going to go ahead and just delete this once I'm done making it. So this is going to be temp token. The only thing you need here is the gist. We're going to create the token, copy this. This is going to go download settings. Put this in here. All right, so here I need a gist ID. So that's going to be this part here. And I have made my gist public, so other people should be able to download this. So hopefully, if all goes well here, what this is doing is it's going through all these different settings, extensions, and anything else that I have, and it's going to go ahead and set them up. So what I would recommend is if you want to see the things that I have installed, a lot of these are probably going to show you them, like these names like bracket paracolorizer is an extension, better toml, there's the auto comment blocks. There's a bunch of different ones here that I have. Some of them I use, some of them I install at times to try out and I don't end up using. I don't think you should necessarily need them all, but if you're just curious about what type of extensions I use, they're there. The key bindings, I think a good chunk of these come from, there's an extension or something that I use that basically tries to mimic Sublime text, and that's what a little bit of this is. And once these are all synced, you'll actually see how some of that's not quite the same. I think it increased my font size, so let me see something. Let's just reload this and see if this helped. So it appears to have installed my theme. I'm trying to see. All right, so now one of the things you'll notice is I changed my keyboard shortcuts. So now whenever I zoom in and change that with text, it only changes the text. It doesn't change everything. That's just something I prefer. Sorry, I want. So then I also changed some of my settings for, bringing up these bars and stuff like that, because whenever I'm recording videos, I don't always want these. In fact, this far left one I generally don't want. So, there's different settings like that. There's also settings to split into 2 panes or basically split into more panes and to reduce them. All these are shown here. I'm not really going to go over them all. I mean, you can check them all out, read through them. If you're curious about what specific settings doing something, feel free to ask. I'll try to go over it, but I think going over all of these is kind of a waste of time because they're all documented pretty well with what am I thinking? Sorry, with VS Code, having a brain lapse or a lapse for a second of my memory. But that should get me most of this stuff, and I need to update this eventually to show that, but that's how I'm getting most of my settings synced. So I'm not actually going down through and reinstalling all the software, doing stuff like that. This just makes it a little bit easier. So now my code should be set up pretty decently. And you'll see here that I have a couple things like, I'm just going to talk about a couple of these extensions I have, I guess. So if I open up this and do @installed, you can also see the ones I have here. So bracket pair colorizer, this is supposed to, whenever it's working correctly, if I were to open up like a, well, basically this is going to try to colorize your bracket pairs. So see how those 2 are blue and these outside ones are purple. It's just going to sort of do a colorization, and it's going to make it a little bit easier so that you can figure out which brackets are which. That's just a little nice to have thing. Change case will just allow you to change the case of different words. So you can go camel case, Pascal case, stuff like that. I'm looking for, you're going to probably want the Go one if you're doing Go development. So this is the big one. That's why I'm trying to go over it. This is going to be one that's going to have most of the Go stuff. So if I were to then code quiz, this is going to bring up a new editor. But you'll notice here that I don't think I need to do this because I think I have all of it already done. But you could say yes here if you want. Let's see, we'll open up this, and you'll see how these brackets and parentheses are being colorized now. So they're just trying to make it so like these 2 are pink, and then you can tell which ones are closing. This one's yellow, so you got to find the yellow one that matches it. But all the Go stuff here should, allow me to start to do stuff, but you'll see that as I do this, it's going to say it needs some stuff. So I'm just going to tell it to install all. And I'm going to wait till it finishes. I think this is the same thing, but I'll probably do install all again. Oh, it's trying to... So one of the issues I'm running into right now is that I don't have SSH key set up. So I'm going to end this video because I think I have a good chunk of my stuff set up. And I'm going to go install. So you can do this, install, update tools. And then we're going to come down through here and we're going to select them all and we're going to go ahead and update them all. But I'm going to first go make sure my SSH keys are set up, and I'll do that in the next video, and then we'll come back to this stuff.